Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Assalamu alaikum. What is going on today? This is February 3rd, right? February 3rd. This is a big month. I think it's Michael Jordan's birthday. I think it's Malcolm X had a birthday in this time as well. There's a lot of people, a lot of things going on. Personally, professionally, there's a lot going on. So this is great. But I'm glad you're here today with us. I don't know what you're doing right now, but you came here and chill with us, myself and AB. So we're happy for that. So, welcome to the Expat Bros podcast. This is episode 6. Alhamdulillah, episode 6. We're moving along, guys. Every single week we drop episode every Sunday. All right, inshallah. So, I'm one half of the Expat Bros crew. This is your boy, your man, Justin Hamza, and my other half of the Expat Bros crew. Introduce yourself, my man.
First and foremost, thank you. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You must always return the salam whenever you hear the salam.
Absolutely.
I am the second half of the extravagant, superb, stellar Expat Bros. Happy to have you guys on February, what was it?
3rd.
February
Yes.
3rd. February, the 3rd day of Black History Month. So,
Absolutely.
you know what I'm saying? So I gotta give a shout out to all the melanin brothers out there and sisters. You know what I'm saying? You know, so
AB, hold on. This is great. Who is your, I guess, top Black History Month person? Someone that always is, comes to mind when we think about this month. Who do you think?
I'm cliche as it is, so I gotta say, brother Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying?
Me too.
Malcolm X or Muhammad Ali. But there's actually a lot of sad to say, there's actually a lot of pioneers and trailblazers in Black History Month that don't get their shine on, like Huey Newton, all these guys. A lot of the famous inventors are Black. So there's a lot of things that Black culture brings more than just music or entertainment. There's science, there's education, there's mathematics, there's healthcare. So there's many things that aren't really spoken about, but you know what I'm saying. But khair, alhamdulillah, So shout out to all the melanin possessed, tinted. You know what I'm saying. It's all
blessed. You know what I mean?
Melanin blessed. You know what I'm saying. The more tinted you are, the better you are. You know what I'm saying? You feel me?
Definitely. I wanted to shout out Black businesses as well.
Yes.
There's a lot of Black businesses out there that are thriving, doing some tremendous things, and we all should be able to support one another.
Yes.
It's not any month to support a Black business. I think February is the month to try it out. Instead of going to the big body business, go to the Black business for change.
I'm about to also give a shameless plug to my brother right here, Hamza, aka the resume killer, the CV striver, the sniper. You know what I'm saying? So for all those who want to elevate, become elite,
yes,
cut from a different fabric. You feel me? Then
I appreciate AB, man. Yes, I am a resume writer. I'm a certified professional resume writer. I do write for resumes for teachers and education professionals, especially. So if you do want to support Black business this month as well, like AB said, and I appreciate that, my brother, I'm here to help, depending on what you need. So there we go. Now, some of y'all might say, oh man, Justin Hamza just interrupted AB's introduction and all that. We will interrupt each other. Like that's what's going to happen. All right. This is not, English tea time on Saturday evening or afternoon. I don't know. It's not that, right? We're going to interrupt each other. It's respectful. It's how we do it. This is our conversations. We treat this platform as if you are a fly on the wall and you're just listening to us, right? Yeah. That's how we treat it. So there's going to be some interruptions, going to be some back and forth. It's like a barbershop in a sense, there's decorum. It looks unorganized to you, but it's organized for us. You know what I mean? So just in case anyone says that, that's what's going to happen on this show.
It's some good old cookout talk. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna speak facts. We're gonna hurt feelings. We're gonna speak some more facts, and we're gonna come out with all love. You feel me?
Absolutely. So I'm just making the disclaimer. You know what I'm saying? Some people may not get it, whatever, but it is what it is. We just let y'all know from the rip what time it is. You know what I mean? You dig? So.
Never mind. I won't say it.
Yeah, that's all good. Now, hold on. Now you gotta say it now. No, you gotta say it now.
No. You said today we got time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a famous meme. Today we got time today. You know what I'm saying? Stay on business.
we stand on business every Saturday. You dig? Like so, it's about to be another hour of that, for sure. So
Absolutely,
that's
man.
what's up. But yeah, we're here today. We got a power-packed show as always. We tend to have 3 or 4 major questions that we answer on this show. Typically, one of them is going to be about Deen. One of them is going to be about, when I say Deen, that means religion, right? We're Muslims, expats as well from the West. So we will touch about that. We talk about one current event always. What's something that's going on that really took our eye or our ears and our attention and say, we got to talk about that and explain something on the show. So we will talk about a current event. We're expat bros, so we got to talk about something about expats, right? It makes a lot of sense. So whether it's travel or expat related, we will discuss one expat question. And if we have time, we get into random ones. Like I just asked AB, like, what's your favorite Black History Month, figure, right? So random questions come out of the blue as well. So listen, we got to go through the itinerary. So let's first go through the itinerary to set
Before
the
you
show
before
right.
you go
Yes,
to
sir.
the itinerary, you missed the most important thing, man. Make sure these lovely people, you gotta remind them. You know what I'm saying? You gotta just like it's Black History Month has to be reminded every year. You gotta remind these people, man. You gotta tell them.
Right. You're right. You're right. You're
You
right.
know?
You like, subscribe, guess, follow, share. Share is the most important thing, I think, AB. Like
I think
subscribing is important too, but
no, but I think
sharing it.
I think the most important thing is engage. Tell
Yeah.
us,
Ooh.
tell us
Ooh.
what you like. Tell us what you don't
Yeah.
like. We are, as my brother Hamza said earlier, we're trying this new format. So let us know if you like it or not. Instead of 4 questions, we're doing 3 questions. These are
Yep.
3 topics that we discussed. So let us know. And these are feedback that we've heard from other people. So if you prefer the 3 questions, it's better for us. If you prefer the 4 questions, it's better for us. We can
Yeah.
talk for days. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
this is straight up barber talk. So
And-
barbershop talk. So it doesn't really hurt us
right.
anyway. But we would love to know what is a better format and engage. Let us know what topics did you like and how can we further this engagement. So give us your feedback. Let us know.
The other thing too, people don't really understand is that we actually seek feedback all the time. We're
Correct.
not going to be hurt by people's feedback. We actually want engagement, for better or for worse. End of the day, it is our show. So we're going to continue to carry on how we want, but it's not our show unless you guys are looking at it and you guys want to see something, and maybe it will spark something in us to make a change. Matter of fact, we had feedback for the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, right? AB has
Straight.
a large network, mashallah. So he reaches out to a lot of people, and even my people as well have given me some feedback. So we're moving in that direction. So that's what it's going to be. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, email, you see it on the screen, right? You have all of our social medias on the screen. That's how you contact us, all right? That's the way to do it. So, all right. So without further ado, let's go check out the itinerary, all right? First and foremost. Number 1, we're going to talk about maybe an open-ended question that's also intertwined with Deen. So how does the pursuit of happiness align with or diverge from the search of the meaning of life? Now, that's a heavy question right there. All right. But there's a 1B to this as well. Can this journey also coexist with the Deen as well? So that's the first question that we're going to tackle today. The second one, we're going to talk about McDonald's. All right, McDonald's. Not eating McDonald's. I mean, we understand why some people may be boycotting McDonald's at this moment. We're not talking about that. But we're talking more about the AI and the emergence of AI and what it may mean to job displacement. So the first robotic or automated AI restaurant opened up in Texas. What does that mean? So we'll dive into that a little bit as well. Then the last topic, since we're changing up the format a little bit to 3 questions this time, we just read a survey. It was an article that was published in Arab News, and they talked about the best expat locations. And so we're focused in the Middle East, so we were very much clued into what the rankings were for the Middle Eastern countries. And you'll be surprised with those rankings. I was surprised. I think AB was too, because we have a lot to say about where Qatar's place is in this, and also the person who was leading, or the country who was leading the rankings, which is Bahrain, our neighbors to the north. So we'll talk about that and what this survey means, and if it's cap or big facts. You know what I mean? So
It's
I
definitely
think
cap.
Yeah, it's cap for us for sure. We're gonna tell y'all spoiler alert. Yeah, dude, spoiler alert.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer, you know what I mean? So we don't feel that the survey actually gives credit due to Qatar, but we'll go into that a little bit as well. So did I sum up everything, AB, or we set to go, or did I miss anything?
No, we good, man. We
All right,
we ready. We about to
all right,
spit
cool.
some yoga fire, you know?
We ready? All right, cool. Let's do it. So without further ado, let's do what we came here to do. You dig? Let's go. Question number 1. This is deep. This came from the mind of AB, right? This is a very deep question, right? So AB is only right that you start off answering this question. How does the pursuit of happiness align or diverge from the search for the meaning of life? And once you establish that, can your same journey exist within the Deen, right? Following everything in our Deen. So first, I want you to go into that first question and look at aligning that with the Deen. So what do you think about that?
The thing is, I don't know. This is a very. I've been thinking about this question lately. That's why I brought it up, right? And I wanted to ask, and even get like the people's feedback and see what they think, because like
Right.
we always hear people saying, like, I'm on the pursuit of happiness and I'm trying to find happiness and happiness and happiness, but happiness is just one emotion out of like X amount of emotions that we have as humans, you know? So why are we always trying to seek out only happiness? Is the first question, you know? Why are we only care about this? Like, why are we just so focused on happiness when like humans can feel like a spectrum of emotions, you know? That's the first question. Okay. Uh, and then on top of that, why is our only purpose in life just to seek that in particular? So we put so much energy in happiness, but if you really think about it, happiness is such it's a very like minor emotion. Yeah, it feels good obviously because you feel happy, but it's a very minor emotion. Like there's because if you the other emotions last longer. Like you feel like sad sometimes even longer than happiness, because happiness is a very short emotion if you really were to put a time frame on it, you know. and and that's the first way I see it. Now, I wanted to ask you this question before, and I think I've asked you before, but you forgot. And I said, and I asked you this question. I want to ask also the audience, and you're going to answer because it's going to make sense. It's going to go full circle.
Okay.
It's going to be like, do you think, do you think happiness is earned, or do you think happiness is given?
I definitely I don't think that this world gives happiness. I think that you have to first earn it. And what I mean by earning it, I feel like you have to do the work necessary to reach a state where you can accept happiness. Because at some point we were happy, we're innocent in our lives, but then at some other point, maybe it's a fact of things hit us the wrong way, and we're so down about ourselves, and we speak negatively about ourselves, or we don't see the bigger picture. We just focus on the minute details, and we may not like our place or station in life. But for you to accept it, you have to do the work necessary to get out of that when life hits you and knocks you down. What is your response? Are you going to fight, or is
I
it
think
flight? And so once you figure out your response and you go forth with that 110%, then, especially if you fight, once you get through all of that, you battle and you get to see the rainbow on the other side, right? Now you can say, wow, I've seen the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, I earned that happiness, because now I have something to say where I see the other side where it wasn't that happy. And now I can at least say, thank you. I'm gracious. I mean, not gracious, I have gratitude.
thank
You
you.
know, I'm humbled by what just happened. So therefore, I receive that happiness and I earned that happiness through the trials and tribulations. Now, does happiness remains as a long-term state? No, it can go, but you can also have positive discontent as well. What do I mean by that? So you can look at your life and not be where you want to be, or you're tired of the journey, but you're positive about where you're going. So even though you're not there at the moment, you're discontented by it, but you're still positive. You're overall happy about yourself, and you know the destination. So therefore, you'll keep going along. And quite frankly, the process can make you happy, because you find that, hey, I'm closer every single day. I'm closer to where I need to go, right? So,
small wins.
right. I'm earning these small wins every time. I'm earning that closer step, to where I need to be for happiness. So that's the way I look at it in terms of earning it. Life doesn't give it to you, right? Only time I feel like it could give it to you, like you're a father. So you could say, hey, man, when my son came out, I was happy. Look at that. I made that. Or Allah helped me make that, right? Or you can look at some other things like in life. I mean, I'm not a parent, but I'm just saying that's one example that I can look at someone just easily that was given, but you still have to work for that too.
Happiness is one of those feelings that is very fickle. It's very, very fickle. And you catch it in moments. Okay. And you said something very profound. You said it's the journey that matters. Okay. Not the destination, but the journey. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When you realize that you can fall in love with the journey, it doesn't matter about the destination because you're going to be there. But in your mind, you have to fall in love with whatever journey you're going through.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And once you fall in love with the journey, the destination will be twice as better because you've seen the fruits of your labor in whatever, inshallah, God willing, inshallah, of whatever you've done. And it's funny because as a child, we're so sheltered. Our parents shelter us. Our community shelters. Our community does the same thing. They shelter us as well. So you don't know the trials and tribulations of reality. Some kids do. Some kids start at a very young age, but overall, most people are sheltered, right? And then as you get older, the safety nets that were set to protect you break. They get less and less as you get older, and then you see the real life. You see real life. You feel me?
Yes.
And we're so infatuated with trying to have this attainment with happiness that we feel that we earn. I mean, we're not earned it. We're owed it. It is our right to be happy. You know what I'm saying? And this entitlement mentality is what makes people crash. Oh, I've done everything the right way. I've done this. Da da da. Why am I not getting the results that I need? Or why am I doing this? And why am I not happy? Or why am I going through this? And that is the second part that I'm going to answer. The second part is the Deen. This is where the Deen comes in. This is the beauty of the Deen. Okay. And it's so hard because the Deen tells you that the journey of the believer is one of the most difficult things ever because Allah, if Allah loves you and he loves all his creations, the more trials and tribulations he sends your way, and he only sends things that you're capable of handling. He'll never ever send you things that you're not capable of handling. So whatever you're going through, you have to understand this is a test from Allah. But here's the caveat. The caveat is that you must mentally, and you said earlier, you must mentally understand that one is a test, which is very hard. It's easier said than done. That's number one. Okay. Number two, you have to see the signs of the test. What am I being tested on? Okay. And these could be very traumatic experiences. Losing your mother, losing your child, going through a divorce, whatever whatever curveballs life throws at you. But you must understand and you must stay privy to these things. Number three, you must understand that when you go through these experiences, you're gonna be changed person. You're gonna if you can face the storm, the skin that you've now cultivated and you're now thicker, you're not the same person you used to be. And this is one of the hardest things to do, man. That's how and that journey is the truest level of happiness. When you've gone through an experience and you've gone through whatever, the spears and the swords and you've been cut and all this stuff, and then when you come back, you're a different person. You always are. You know,
It sounds like Game of Thrones.
basically.
All these trials, all these wars. I got to make alliances over here. I got to watch my back once this alliance is done. All these different things. So it is a war field in a sense with life. It's how you approach it. Do you say, "Hey, man, we lost"? I see all these people there about to battle against us. Or is it like, "No, let's go head first. I'm ready."
Yeah,
It's a different,
dive
different,
in, dive in.
different energy. You know what I'm saying? It's a different energy. I want to address a question you had or a statement you had. You said that a lot of people are not really. I'm paraphrasing, by the way. I'm not saying exactly what you said, but you said that people are not necessarily happy with the journey sometimes, or happy with their circumstances. They feel like they're owed happiness. They feel like they're owed satisfaction. Do
Yeah,
you feel like now today that has sped up a lot more because we have social media and you're seeing the highlights of people's lives? Or do you
absolutely.
think of people just comparing themselves to someone next to them or their
No,
coworker?
no. We are in the everything now is like on cloud nine. Like it's like it's extremely highlighted, you know? I can see some guy or some whatever girl in a different country living a lavish life, and people now are, they say what's the actual quote, but I'll paraphrase it. They say, what do you call it, comparing is the poison of life. Okay,
Yeah,
comparing.
comparison is a thief of joy. I've heard it
Yes,
that way.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
Comparison is the thief of joy. That's what it is.
yeah.
Okay. So when you compare your life to whatever life you're looking at, whether it's through the lens of social media or in real time, then you forget the current blessings that you have in your own life. And it's very hard nowadays because everyone's comparing, you know? And I try to remind myself, because like you see like these like new like entrepreneurs, oh, like, what are you doing working 9 to 5? You should be having a Lamborghini, you should be having this, and you should be doing this, and everybody nowadays is an expert in like whatever they're into right now. Everyone's giving advice and everyone's telling each other what to do, but the reality is like they're also just as lost. So you have to also, the biggest advice that I was given at a very young age, I remember back in like high school, um, back when the social media was booming or starting to boom, and you see all these like influencers and people started making, like, people saw that influencing can make real money. um the best advice that I was ever given was like, life is a marathon, it's not a sprint. So if you only focus on your lane, you are where you are supposed to be, and you will be where you need to be in the future, wherever that is. If you focus life as as a sprint, and you're always running, sprinting very fast, how fast does a sprint race last? What, 9 seconds? You know what I'm saying?
For me, 5. I'm cooked after that.
You know what I'm saying? So if you look at life in that kind of context where you say, yeah, it's a marathon. Some people are doing 30K, what do you call it, marathons. Some people are doing 100K marathons. Some people, so whatever marathon you are running and whatever goals you are accomplishing in your marathon, that's your goals. Don't look at my lane. Don't look at the person. Don't look
Right.
behind you. Just be tunnel vision. Look at your lane within your two lines and stay where you are, and you'll be where you have to be. It's that simple. But most people nowadays, social media has like expedited this like keeping up with the Jones kind of like attitude.
Yeah, but you see, I think the keeping up of the Joneses is a major issue. There was actually a movie, I forgot what it was called, but it was the same concept of keeping up with the Joneses. And it really dove into the family that was the Joneses, that
Mm,
was really living life. Everything that you could dream of, like this family had, they were the model family of the block, probably the most successful family. But inside their house, they were going crazy to keep up this image, to
yes.
keep everyone on the same schedule, to not spend as much money as they shouldn't spend, to keep everyone grounded and humble, right? And on to the next. Because at a certain point, if you have received everything, if you bought everything, if you experienced everything, what's the next step? What is
What
that?
you're-
Like,
what you're referring to is called hedonism. So to be
yeah, this absolutely.
hedonism is a very hedonism stems from the two, what do you call it, um the two seven deadly sins. It stems from greed and it stems from gluttony. Okay, so it stems from those two. Okay, so obviously, and every human is built the same way. Every human, whether you're in different, doesn't matter about gender, doesn't matter about culture. Humans all have the seven deadly sins, and hedonism stems from greed and gluttony. So we as humans, we're very greedy, and it's even in the Quran. Allah said in the Quran, where like son of Adam, if I was to give you a mountain of gold, that would never be enough. You would ask for another one. So it's in us. We're innately creatures of greed. So that's why, and that's where the Deen comes in, and it curbs because this is an innate desire that we have. We want more. So it's very scary. And if greed isn't controlled, or gluttony isn't controlled, then that's basically the demise of humans. So I'm not surprised, to be honest.
Yeah, when it comes to like the Deen, you have to look at, when you talk about Islam at this core, right? It's about submission. And so for you to look at, okay, how can I coexist what I want and my happiness with what is in the Deen, you first have to submit and say, you know what, I'm shedding my happiness away for the greater happiness of the Deen, the greater happiness of my akhirah, right? For what I'm trying to achieve in the hereafter. And so I think that's part of it. And sometimes we may not do that. Some people are born Muslim, so they have to do anything. They have to have no concept of this, right? And so you're just riding along in the same religion that was given and passed down to you. And whether you value it or not, that's up to you as a person, right? Something or some place or something is going to make you examine that at one day. I'm speaking more of a revert perspective. When I came into the religion, I had to shed a lot of things away from me that were not a part of the Deen. And so therefore I had to submit that and say, you know what, I'm giving that away for something greater. So now if this life is greater, why are you going to backslide to the previous life that you were in? And so my happiness stems from my creator, from my God. And therefore whatever pleases him will please me. Even if I don't necessarily believe in it, I know that this is my blueprint to success. So I think sometimes as a revert, I think it's easy to say, you know what, I've already done that work. I think sometimes my brothers who are in the religion already from birth, sometimes they don't look at it that way because they never had to come to that question full stop and say, well, what about my happiness? Well, your happiness is within the religion at the end of the day. So what do you think about what I'm saying? Because I'm a revert. I'm speaking from my perspective. What about from you?
When it comes to, because, being born into Islam, and especially growing up in a Western country, you hold different identities. You feel me? And I told you this before. Like, I think most Western Muslims will probably feel this way. You take the religion for granted, and Alhamdulillah, like my parents were well practicing Muslims, immigrants. So
Alhamdulillah.
our foundation was the religion. But also, don't forget, once you leave the household, you're now navigating in a different landscape, and you're still westernized at the end of the day. Now, for my experience, yes, and from my circle and from what I understand, most people, we do take the religion for granted, 100%. We do take it for granted because we were born into it, so we don't know the struggle of searching for something that completes you. Because we don't have to do the groundwork. We were born into the building. We were not out of the building. You feel me? So what do you call it? And then at some point, because you start maturing as a child and you start questioning things, and as you question things, it's fine, but the questioning has to make sense, and you have to seek out answers where they come from. So luckily for me, I had a household where both my parents were educated, so those answers weren't far from me. But most people, if you ask them, they end up kind of like straying away from the religion. But subhanAllah, most people always end up coming back to the religion. And this stems from what I understood. It stems from going through, subhanAllah, because going through traumatic experiences, for the most part, they always bring you back to Allah. They always bring you back to Allah, and it's kind of it's kind of like a sensible thing to do, because you realize how like alone you are, and you need this foundation of religion, and Allah is the only person that like answers your prayers, and it's a beautiful thing. So that's how I see people who are born into the religion. We all have the same story, to be honest. We do. Like, we all have similar stories, and it's
AB,
interesting.
yeah, AB, you're saying something that made me think about this. Questioning your religion is important and essential to reaffirm your foundation.
Facts. Yes,
So
exactly. Exactly.
regardless if I'm looking to revert somewhere else,
Yes, yes,
or I'm
yes.
going to stay in my religion and believe
Yeah.
it 110%, I have to ask questions for it
Yes.
to make sense, for my faith, to my iman to be boosted,
Yeah.
right? For me to have
And
more
you
ammo to fight again
not
another
even
day.
not
So,
even fight, not even fight, man. It's reassure, bro. There's a feeling that I can't explain, that's reassuring, that once you've passed your questioning phase, no matter how long it is, and the questioning phase is a test from Allah, by the way. That questioning phase is a test from Allah. Whether you know it or not, Allah is testing to reaffirm the faith, okay? The faith that you have. Do
right,
you truly believe in this religion? And if you come out, obviously it's a very, and it doesn't matter if you are born Muslim or if you're a revert or whatever you are, that period is essential, because that period is what, like, that's like you basically come out made of Teflon. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a very interesting, because I've talked to, because when you leave high school, and university is a very interesting period in people's lives, because now the ideas that you're having in university are now aligning with your growth, and you're meeting people, and people are questioning your ideologies and your creed and your religion and your gender and all these things are being questioned, your culture, all these things. So one of the most important things, and one of the most very aligning things, is religion. Okay, and then you start seeing, because you realize the most important label you have is your religion. At that point, you realize it, because that's the only thing that's been what do you call it, linear, since you were, or if you're a revert, it becomes linear. But if you were born into Islam, it's the only thing that's linear in your life. It's straight, and it makes sense, and it's comforting. You feel wholesome, you feel holistic. So
yeah,
that's what I've come to realize, and it's a very, very, because sadly I've seen brothers and sisters that um, got stuck in that questioning period,
yeah,
and they couldn't, and they failed the test. But Allahu alam, because Allah knows best, and Allah is the best of planners, and maybe there's another period of time in their life, if Allah wants it, and if Allah allows it, that they can come back into it. And like I said, Allah is the best planners. So some people in life, you times at times you have to learn the hard way. But like I
yeah,
said, Allah knows
yeah,
best.
yeah, definitely. And before we end this topic, because this has been a very spirited first question, I have a couple of friends right now, some of my best friends back in the States, who are in that phase right now, where they're like, I'm not sure this is the religion I should be in.
Mm,
And so they said, well, Justin, how did you look into Christianity? Look out of Christianity and look into Islam. I said, that's not your question first. Your question first is your situation or your thinking of another religion or not being happy in your religion, is that about the word, about what you're being told? Or is it about the people? Is it about the church culture? Is it about things that are outside or inside? If it's
mm,
about what's inside, then that's something serious, because you can't agree with something that you don't agree with. If you look at
facts,
the book or the text or anything, you don't
facts.
agree with that. That's something bigger that you need to look outside. But if it's the people or the theatrics or entertainment you may feel or whatever, that's something that you can move to another place. There's many churches, there's many communities. Go check those out. See how you feel. And that's what I said to them. It's not about me looking to Islam or you should be looking to Islam because I did. It's about, okay, focus on your religion. Is your religion, does that feel like it's what you believe in? If it's not, then that's a serious problem. Then outside of that, then you go look. For me, it was about the text. I didn't have questions answered. You know, subhanAllah, you had family members, your mother and your father, who were great exemplars of the religion, of the Deen. And I'm sure your siblings contributed to that as well. So you had a power base that could answer any questions. But when I came from that same thread, I have uncles who are pastors. But I just feel like I couldn't get the answers from them, and they're the ones leading a church. And I'm not saying that they had to give me the answers, but I didn't feel it. Maybe they did give me an answer or two. I didn't feel it. When I read it, I didn't feel it. So therefore, there was a massive problem. Now, I did have problems with some other things about Black churches are a great experience. It really is a great experience. But for me, that's not who I am. I don't need all the, you know, singing and praising and all that. You know, that wasn't me. I didn't need all of those things. And other things like that just didn't vibe with me. But that's not enough for me to say, let me go to another religion. That's a moving from another church to another church, another community to another community. So it just depends on what you're looking for. But this is a great topic. I can talk. I'm sure you could talk about this forever. I could talk about this forever as well. But we're trying to be our best stewards of time, right? So we're going to close this one out. I'm going to move on to the next subject. I don't know how you transition to this subject from what we just talked about, but I'm going to try my best to tie it all in.
We'll try our best, for real.
Yeah, you know, inshallah. Now, some people look at McDonald's or fast food as their pursuit of happiness. That gives them happiness, right? Satisfaction. So for the second question, McDonald's is actually opening up, or they have opened up, its first automated restaurant, if you will, in Texas. And this is an ongoing conversation about AI and job displacement. So what does this mean when we're looking at this new restaurant being open? How does community receiving it? What does it look like for the future long term? AB, do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first on this one?
I'll go first. Okay. Yeah, I'll go first. Doesn't matter.
By the way, guys, for you looking on YouTube land and Facebook or on audio podcast, I'm a little bit under the weather. If the camera goes off, just know I'm there, but you don't want to hear what I'm dealing with. You dig? So just let you know what that is. So AB, go ahead and proceed with this answer.
No worries. As a heavy disclaimer, but I got you. No worries.
No doubt.
anyway, no, bro. This is nothing new, to be honest. I think just the world now is catching up with Japan or South Korea, but this whole movement of AI, and you know, from a business point of view, it makes sense. It makes sense, like to automate certain jobs, and you and I spoke about this, to automate certain jobs that are becoming very trivial or mundane, that it's if I have to pay a human and train the human rather than just paying for a robot and then it's already programmed once and for all, then from a business point of view, it makes sense. Now, if you're looking at it from a displacement of work and people are going to lose their jobs, then yeah, then you can say that about jobs that were here 40 years ago or 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? A lot of jobs have left because of human progression, because those jobs can be done by machines. You know, whether one job that used to be done by 3 humans can now be done by 1 machine and 1 human. You know what I'm saying? So, or people that used to do 10 kind of jobs now can be done by a human that's sitting in his office, 1 human, 1 machine, in 1 office. So, and from a business point of view, it makes so much sense. So these people who are like, like trying to start a fuss, like, just go kick rocks, man. Like, just, go touch grass. You feel me? Because, and it's not that I'm coming from a heartless point of place. Like, I'm not. It's not. Listen, okay? I'm not coming from heartless. Humans, regardless, are going to progress. We're going to evolve. And technology is going to be the driving force. Okay. By the way, every sector, whether you're a teacher, you're a doctor, everybody's going to be tasting this to some form or level. It doesn't matter who you are. It just so happens that the easiest jobs to take care of is what? It's McDonald's, like it's the restaurant business, you know what I'm saying? And so it makes sense that, like it's farmers are going to come pretty soon as well, where like people, because, and also don't forget, people don't want to work anymore. People are, or that's the biggest thing, like people don't want, and this was proven but during COVID, but this also shows two things, okay? And I'm going to play both sides, okay? The first one, COVID exposed two things. COVID exposed, number one, it exposed that people don't want to work, okay? They don't want to work. Now, the question is, why do they not want to work? Now, if you look at the paying wages and the way they were working and the way they were being dogged, it makes sense why they don't want to work. I can make just a little bit less of money and get money from the government by staying home. So why would I have to go to work when I'm working 3 times as hard by going to work and all this expenditure, and then I only get a little bit of money? So now companies now have gotten smarter, and they're like, all right, now you don't want to work? Cool. We'll just automate your jobs. So that's basically what's happening. That's basically how the world is moving. And a very important quote that one of my mentors told me is that he posed the question. He said, "Is AI taking over your job?" That was literally the question he posed, right? And his answer was, it can be yes, it can be no, it can be maybe. Okay, we don't have an answer for this at this moment right now. However, AI will definitely take the jobs away from those who don't hop on the wave. So if you are open-minded, whether you're young or old, and you see the possibilities of AI, whatever they are in any sector, then I suggest you open your mind and see how AI can help you in whatever job you can do. And this goes for anything as like cleaning garbage. It doesn't matter what it is, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. You have to be open-minded, open with everything. And that's it. That's honestly, that's the hard truth. That's the cold truth.
AI, when we're looking at this, AB, that's got me confused. AI, AB. We're looking at this, right? Do you think that with AI, and just think about this for a second, do you think that we are closer, and when I say closer, like 10 years away from universal basic income, or that's something that our kids will see when they're in the job force? What's closer?
Wait, so ask me again. Are we closer to
Yeah,
universal?
are we closer? Are we 10 years away from that, or it's more in our children's prime when they're working 20 years, 30
Oh,
years away from universal basic income?
I'll be honest, man. I'm a realist, so I don't think we're even close at all, to be honest. I think the thing is, I don't want to be like a conspiracist or anything, man. I don't want to be like and pessimistic is not really my way, but I try to
Right.
keep it realistic. And the idea of universal basic income to me, I get it. I understand it. It's one of those things where it's one of those things like it's like communism. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand the premises behind it, but it sounds good on paper, but in reality it doesn't. And that's how I feel. You know, to me, I guess you could say like I'm pro-capitalist in essence, because I do like business, and I do like, and that makes money. Obviously the halal way 100%. For those who are wondering, oh, this guy is a capitalist, he does things. No. Capitalism is good as long as it's done the halal way. Okay.
Right.
But universal based income, to me, there's just too many players involved and too many variables. And I think it's just a buzzword that politicians use to get people who don't understand the actual basis of universal basic income, because it is truly an altruistic idea that everybody has to be on board. Everybody. And so if you're not on board, and we know how people are. There's always going to be one person or one group of people that will just find some loophole, and then people, it always works that way. Just like communism. Just like communism.
Yeah. Just like
Yeah.
communism, right? That's
Yeah.
true. Really good points. In my argument, or my position, not even an argument, but my position. I want to bring some facts to the table. As you
Okay.
were talking, I really wanted to make sure that I had some facts, recent facts about AI.
Okay.
So let me do this right now. So let's go into some of the facts here.
Talk to me.
AI, as it currently stands, not 5 years from now, not 10 years from now, AI is the seventh largest contributor to job displacement at this time.
Okay.
At this
Okay.
time, right? So we're not even close to where this will be in the future. All right. According to, I think in May 2023, statistics have shown that only 4,000 jobs were affected negatively by AI, right? And so only 4,000 jobs out there, out of all the jobs that have been created or been posted, only 4,000, right? Another thing. Interesting thing for us in education. So there was some type of study, and they said 8 out of the 10 professions most exposed to the latest advances in language models are in teaching,
Yeah, that's true.
education.
That's true.
8 out of 10
Yeah, it's true.
other professions.
Hmm.
Interesting, right? So something to think about as well. At the CNBC Technology Executive Council Summit, right? This blew my mind as well. 75% of the people on the survey said AI will create more jobs than lose jobs or destroy jobs,
I believe that. Yes, I agree with that.
right? So everybody's saying, well, I'm going to lose my job. But what if more are created?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's another thing. The last thing that's also tied into this as well, people undoubtedly have to upskill, retrain to master some of the higher order, thinking and logic that comes with AI. If people do that, it can be a useful hedge against job displacement. But
Okay.
how many
True.
people will do that? How many people will be uncomfortable enough to go down that route? So when I say
That's
uncomfortable, I'm talking about people my age, your age,
fine, bro. No, no, bro. That's fine,
right?
bro. Because
Our
that's fine,
little
bro.
ones are gonna know. They're gonna know.
No, no, bro, that's fine, bro. Because listen, bro, listen. You have to trim the fat. It is what it is. You have to trim the fat.
Facts.
Either
Business.
it's business. It's business, brother. It's business. Either no hard feelings when it comes to business.
Mm.
Either, either you get on or you go on. You know what I'm saying? That's the iron rule of the jungle.
Yeah, you get down and lay down. You know what I'm saying?
You get down or lay down. It's that
Yeah.
simple.
It's like gorilla pimping. You know what I mean? It's like, listen,
Yes.
like this is what we're gonna do. Like I'm putting down that heavy hand.
No, bro, but let's keep it a buck, my guy. So
Yeah.
let's say, bro, you think, bro, the guy who first created the automobile, okay? Because back then they had horse and buggies, right? So the automobile was a huge evolution moment when it comes to human progress, right?
Yeah. Henry Ford,
So
the Model T, right? That's the first
you, bro,
mass-produced vehicle. Yes.
mass-produced vehicle. So
Yeah.
think about, bro, all the guys that used to make buggies. They used to make buggies back in the day.
Right.
What happened? What happened? Because buggies was a huge business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because people, how do they transport each other? Through buggies. You had a horse and a buggy, all these things. Now that entire business got wiped out completely because one guy came and brought in automobiles. He brought cars. He's boom. And then on top of that, but don't forget, not only did he bring in cars, he brought in the assembly line, the conveyor belt. So all those people that were displaced from making buggies, if they were smart enough, they transitioned into what? Making automobiles. So they started building. They started what you call they figured out how to put the pieces and all these things and how to build engines and all that. It's bro, people, like I said, either you get down or you lay down. It's that simple.
Gorilla pimp.
That's it.
Yep.
There's so all these people that and people are always outraged in the beginning. It's always 100% outrage. Humans are one of the biggest like babies in the world. They always outrage. But when push comes to shove, when push and this is an evolutionary moment. This is
Yeah.
not like this is an evolutionary moment, bro. This is humans that have to understand and you as a human you have to understand. Okay, I need money. I need to get money for my family. How do I get money? I need to work. What are the works that I need? Okay, AI is a booming sector. I'm gonna study AI so I can get work so I can pay for my family. There's no. It's not rocket science. you know. So if whether you're young or old, it is what it is. Get with it.
So,
That's it.
so
You
this is
know.
the thing. You made me think about in my days when I was into hip hop heavy, and Jay-Z said this line. He said, "I'm not a businessman. I'm a
I'm a
businessman,
businessman.
and let me
Yeah,
do my
I know that line.
business." You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
he's
And so
right.
this makes me think about how we all should be thinking. Whether you work for a business or you own a business, we all have to be in business of ourselves and in business of growth. Everyone on this planet has to grow. Whether you care of growing or not growing, in order for you to survive, you have to be able to grow and adapt to the
Facts.
times.
Facts.
If we were still doing what cavemen were doing back in the day, what the scientists tell you the cavemen were doing, and we didn't increase our higher order of thinking, where would we be today? Right?
We'd be dead.
Right. You have to continue to adapt and grow. So a lot of people say, well, I don't want to do that, or it's not my company. Well, they're not paying me enough to do that. Whether you're doing it for the company or for your own last name, you better learn. And you better
Facts.
upskill. You better retrain. You better adapt. You better have a niche skill set or something that you could bring to the table that's valuable, that you own or that you do. And so a lot of times we can be stuck on the company. The man is putting me down and this and that. But you yourself have to be able to be your own entity, your own brand. Now, I'm not talking about on social media, having a social media account and all I'm doing is taking selfies and pictures and that's my brand. No, what I mean is that like who you are. And when somebody says, hey, I got Justin Tyler on the line, what are they thinking about when they say Justin Tyler? Oh man, he's a really great marketer. Oh man, he really does great marketing campaigns. You know? Oh yeah, he's really great speaking to people. Public speaking is his number one thing. Oh man, he's really good. You want people to be able to rattle off things that are your brand, that's your reputation. If people fail to do that, or they struggle to find out who you are and what you do, you're not growing. You're going to be replaced.
Facts.
I remember in America, like before I left, people were like, "Oh man, these immigrants taking our jobs." No, that's your fault.
Facts.
A lot of it because you didn't want to. You didn't want to learn.
I,
Some person came in.
I think that's the most. I think that's the most like lamest excuse, man.
You know what I'm
Lamest
saying?
excuse,
Like
bro.
you're a citizen of this country.
Lamest, bro. You've basically had a head start.
You had a
You've
head
had a
start,
head start. You had a whole. This was a 100-meter dash, and you were on the 90-meter line.
right? But this person came in with no money. How many times in America have I heard? I had no money when I came here. Had $9 when I came here. I only had
Yeah,
a
bro.
couple of pieces of clothing on my back. I had brought all my family over, and next thing I knew, oh man, now I'm a millionaire. 10 years
I'm not.
later,
I'm running 10 barbershops. I'm
right? I'm
running
running
10
some
salons.
barbershops,
I
right?
got I got 4 laundromats. Like these, bro. The
Right.
hunger you have is internal, man. And this is God given, by the way. This is God given. It's internal, man.
Mm.
When you're a dog, you're a dog. You feel me? So these
Subhanallah.
guys, bro. Subhanallah, bro. When this is God given, bro. God given. And you could see it when you see people. So when I see people, bro, to me, this is a wave. This is a wave, man. And you better
Mm.
and you better catch the wave, man. You better catch the wave. You better
Yeah,
appreciate the wave. You better ride the wave. You better surf up, like you feel me? Like catch it.
yeah. Max
Because
B, man, surf, ride
Max
the
Surf,
wave, man.
yeah, silver surfer. You feel me? So
Surf, you know what
Max B, bro. You feel me?
I mean?
So so,
It's
so
true though. It's
I'm
true.
very excited, bro. I'm very excited about this whole
Yeah.
because we're seeing it in like 4K. We're seeing it live time right now, bro. It's
Yeah.
and
Only one seat.
especially, bro, especially in education. Education is one of the slowest sectors. Okay, education is one of the slowest sectors, and I don't know why it's slow, but the only reason why education catches up to the rest of the world is because students are smarter than teachers. So students
Woo!
and in terms of tech, students. So I've always said this. The reason why we are good at what we do is because we need to put safety nets to protect, to catch kids, or to protect kids from doing things that they shouldn't be doing. So they're so far ahead of us in tech. And by tech, I mean social media or any of the things that they use. Obviously, they don't know how to use the tools to the fullest, but they know it good enough to use it, whether it's
Right.
for good or whether it's good or bad, doesn't matter. But they know how to use it. So we as teachers, we need to be on the same playing field as them. So we have to be able to use that tech as well. And AI is the new tech now. Uh,
Yeah.
and and COVID exposed that, because COVID showed that how lacking we are. There are some teachers that don't even know that didn't even know back in the day, that didn't know how to use smart boards. But we had smart boards for how many years? You feel me?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I remember in my early years when I was doing interviews, one of the questions I was being asked is, do you know how to use a smart board? And I'm like, of course I know how to use a smart board. Like it's a big computer. Like you really, like, if you know how to
Right.
use a computer, then you can use a smart board. Like it's not
Right.
that difficult. There's an HDMI wire, you plug it in, and like I'm saying, such like, to me it was such common sense things, you know.
Right.
And but at the time, and don't forget, bro, smart boards have been in classes for like 10 years now, 10
Right.
12 years. They've been, so it's nothing new, and they really haven't upgraded since the first time they were put in classrooms. So,
Yep.
and if you really think about it, prior to smart boards, we had what? We had whiteboards, and prior to
Mhm.
whiteboards, we had what? We had blackboards.
Yeah.
So
Back.
I remember in grade school, chalk and blackboards.
Yeah.
I remember this. Okay, I
Yes.
remember. I remember, and then we had an actual like chalkboard eraser where you had to like clap to clean it. I remember these days.
Yes.
So, and then we elevated to whiteboards, and it's such a bro. If you really think about it, that was an evolutionary moment,
It
you
was.
know.
It was.
And then we started getting computers in classroom, and then we got smart boards. But smart boards haven't evolved since I was in high school. They have not evolved. They've been the same.
Right.
Maybe one or two features here and there, but they look the exact same. They're bulky.
Right.
They're like, you know what, bro? TVs have evolved. TVs have gotten thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. And now there's so many things that you can do with TVs. There's touchscreen TVs. There's TVs that you stick to the wall. The evolution of TVs is crazy, but the evolution of smart boards is nothing. That shows you how far behind we are in education. We're we're
Yeah.
we're really lacking, bro. We're lacking a lot.
You're right though. You made a really good point about how the younger generation can show something to the older generation. But sometimes the older generation has a proclivity to push back and resist what the younger
Yes.
generation is saying, and that's not
Yes.
right. That's not
No.
fair at all. Shout out to Nas, the rapper, who he says, "Look, I'm almost 50, but I'm learning from the young generation on the new style, the new tempo, the new
Yeah.
cadence, and things like that." Doesn't
The new hip
necessarily
hop.
mean that I'll switch what I'm doing, but what it means is that I'm going to learn from them and be able to understand it and to embrace it and to not be an old man who says, no, I can't learn from younger folk about what they're doing. And even for me, in my job, I'm 40. I'm not old. I'm in the middle between the younger ones and the older ones. And I have young people who teach me different things every day about social media. And I'm like, oh, I know you can do that. Oh, yeah, if you just do this and do that, then boom, you know? And I'm opening myself up to some of those things that they're telling me because we have to be early adopters. As much as we don't want to or not, we have to adopt it early and be able to learn and look into it and play around with it early on. Doesn't mean that you have to be the smartest or the most mastered in that AI. But if you play around with it a little bit, you won't be scared to use it. You won't be scared to ask to step up if you have to, right? Because you've already played around with it. You're like, okay, I can dig deeper if you want me to, no problem. You're right. And so you're already in it. If you dig deeper, you learn more. Have you been negatively impacted by learning more or to dive into another AI? Probably not. You probably increased what you've already known, and it may keep you young and fresh by learning something new, right? So I think this early adoption of things is
Bro,
most important.
I remember. I'll leave on the story. Okay, I'll
Okay.
leave on the story before we go to the next topic. And I think kids now can relate. For me, bro, the kids know more than I do. When it comes to this kind of stuff, the kids know more than I do. Like it's you, the kids. We as educators, this whole hierarchy thing. It's good to have hierarchy, but you have to have an open hand and like understand that these kids have their own knowledge as well. Okay, and it's very important because that also builds trust as well for these young minds. Yeah, I'm trying to impart my knowledge, but I'm not a sage or a hermit where I have this all-knowing head and I'm trying to impart my knowledge to these kids. It doesn't work that way. It works both ways, and it's better to work both ways, because even when you're teaching, if you show that you're also not knowledgeable in things, it's better, and it makes your time teaching easier. And it's also the Prophet ﷺ said, it was called that whatever you don't know, it's okay to say I don't know. Like whatever. So if you ask me a question, rather than me, and this applies to any, not just only in the Deen, it also applies to any topic of life. If you ask me a question and I actually don't know, rather than making up a lie or making up a fact or whatever, it's okay to say I don't know, and then I'll get back to you. You know, it's very simple. But going back to, so this story, this is a true story. So I remember, if you recall, and I remember you remember this, back in the day, the most tech thing that we had was like if you really think about it, before AI and all these things, the most biggest revolutionary thing we had was what? Was Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, those things, right?
Right.
And I remember as a kid, man, I used to when we first got our first computer, I would like play around with like Excel, with Word, with PowerPoint, with Publisher, all these things. Like I'd play around with it, right? To the point where I've mastered it. I've really mastered it. Okay, so I knew the prompts. What do you call it? I knew the prompts on the keyboard. I knew how to save files. I knew how to transfer files. I knew how to, on PowerPoint, I knew how to do transition. I was a wizard, right? Excel, I knew some of the formulas and on how to do like higher level mathematics. So as a kid, you learn these things because you're curious, okay? And also, it's not school related, so it's fun, you know. So you're whenever anything becomes work, you hate it. But whenever you do anything for your own free time, you love it and you enjoy it. So I remember at some point, I got so good that the teacher was asking me for help. Feel me? And um, that exchange of information and knowledge made me feel closer to the teacher. So I'm like, oh crap, man! Like, I know this stuff too. Like, I can be a teacher, and it feels good for a student to teach a teacher. So teachers need to lower their guards, and it's okay to sometimes switch roles. It's okay for you as the teacher to become a student, and the student to teach you as well. It's okay. Like you
Right.
will, and these kids have a wealth of knowledge, man. They're so smart. They're
They
so
are.
smart.
Yeah.
So it's
Just like
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
No, that's honestly it. So you need to lower your guard as an educator. You need to show love, and it helps you. Like it really helps you when these kids like it in teaching
Yes.
lessons. It's an amazing thing to extend the olive branch. You know.
Yeah. Well, just like in our Deen, we have to lower our gaze. We got to also lower our guard in real life, you know, and embrace
Yeah.
the youth movement. Embrace it. You know
Yeah,
what I
man.
mean? Yeah, embrace it. So I'm with you on that one. That was a really good topic as well. Went longer than I thought. This is great. Like I really dug deep into that one because it's going to affect us, man, and it really has some practical knowledge and also implications to how we view ourselves. To be honest with you, exposes a little bit about who you are. So, all right, last topic. This one is a little bit needs some context a little bit, and me and AB feel a little bit defensive on this one.
Snubbed. I feel snubbed.
It's just a little like you know these All-Star Snubs. You know, if you're an NBA
Yeah.
ball follower, De'Aaron
Yeah.
Fox and Domantas Sabonis should have been in the
What do
All-Star
you
game.
mean? What do
I
you
don't
mean by
understand.
talk to my boy SGA, man? Come on, Kid Canada, bro. Come on.
Come on, man. Yeah, he's what
S
I guess you could say top five MVP, right? In that
bro,
category, right?
SGA, bro, is the truth, man. If you're
He,
Canadian, shout out to SGA.
yeah,
Kid
he's a
Can
beast.
Kid Canuck over here, man. You feel me?
Yeah. Now, someone like Dylan Brooks, you can have him in Canada. You can have him, you know. But
Yo,
SGA, shout out to you,
believe,
man.
believe it or not, Dylan Brooks, as annoying as he is actually producing for the Rockets. So
He is.
they
He is.
actually improved. They actually improved a lot from
No,
last year.
he is. You know, he just LeBron's my guy. I'm a Lakers fan, so I just don't. I don't agree with his antics with the king. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, no doubt, man. But we're talking about snubs. This is actually a good topic to say snubs, right? The expat snubs. And so, let me paint the picture like Picasso. You dig? So, according to the Arab News, right? I read this on their website. This was published in July 2023. Bahrain was the highest placed country in the Middle East when it came to a survey that was published by Internations. So this is a global expat network of many expats around the world. So I think in this particular survey, there were over 12,000 respondents, and I think there were over 171 nationalities within those respondents. That's a lot, right? That's pretty good. Now, in terms of the categories, it was quality of life, it was ease of settling in, it was working abroad, and it was personal finance. All right. And then the fifth one was just the overall index score. So Bahrain was number 9 on the list for Middle East. Right. When it came to other Middle Eastern or Gulf countries, you had UAE at 11, Oman at 12, Saudi at 28, and Qatar at 31. 31.
Mm.
And the top 5 overall countries for expats to live in is Mexico, you have Spain, you have Panama, you have Malaysia, and you have Taiwan. Okay? So again, highest place was Bahrain, overall index, 9th place. And then Qatar was 31. What do you think about that, AB? Big facts or cap?
Huge facts, man. This is they definitely paid off that ranking. You know what I'm saying?
So you mean it's cap because they said that Bahrain was nice, so got to be cap.
I personally have not visited Bahrain, to be honest. I've
I've never been there either. I can't say it.
I've been to Saudi, I've been to UAE, and I've been to Qatar. Qatar is being my third Gulf country.
Yep. So Oman was 12th, by the way. You've been to Oman before?
No, I've been to Oman airports, but I haven't been to the country. But I heard Oman's like.
I've been to Oman. Yeah.
I've been Oman's like very beautiful. I heard it's like very it's very beautiful, nice people.
Very friendly people.
Yes, very friendly. Don't forget, Oman also has a lot of East Africans that live there because back in the day they used to live in Zanzibar, so that's why a lot of Omanis look East African. They have like, and they speak Swahili, so you know. So they have like Tanzania ties,
right
there. Anyways, in terms of Bahrain, I really can't speak about it. I saw the article. I didn't really read much about it, but I saw the comments and people were saying the same thing as cap. It's this and that. I can't speak for that, but I can only speak for Qatar. And first of all, to be even 31 is like ridiculous. It makes no sense.
Yeah, that's a little low, brother.
But it's weird because I feel like personally, I think it's a hit piece. Based on the fact that Qatar did a really good job hosting the World Cup. And a lot of media was doing smear campaigns on Qatar in regards to like the workers and this and that and the but even though these smear campaigns were happening, Qatar smashed, like they did a superb job in the World Cup. So a lot of these magazines and these publishers are just throwing shade, and I feel like this is one of those things where they throw shade where you can't really think about what Bahrain has done in the last like 10 years. I don't know what they have done. I don't know what it's a very small country, if you even can call it a country, and no shade to them, but I'm just speaking the truth.
No shade any of these countries, no shade.
No shade, but in terms of likability, in terms of culture, in terms of religion maintenance, like you can see Qatar is probably one of the few Gulf countries where you see Muslims, like where you see practicing Muslims, and the foundation is a Muslim country, and living here for so long, you see it, you feel it, and also it's one of the few places where in the West we speak about a sense of community. Okay, so and only a Westerner will understand what I'm saying, where you feel like when you're in the West, you feel like you're part of a community where there's food drives, where there is community halaqas and all these things, and so many. You're part of the bigger equation when you and only someone from like Canada or America or UK will understand exactly what I'm referring to, because it is like when you have a community, you feel like you're doing more for your deen. Yeah. And Qatar is one of the closest things that feeling has here. Like back home, it's similar to here. So if you are someone who's trying to seek out uh, that with culture, with religion, with yeah, is it expensive? Yes, it is. It is expensive, but that always goes back to your cost of living and how you live your life. If you're trying to live a lifestyle, then of course, then you'll find it here. If you're trying to live within your means, then yes, you also find it here as well. So, and that also applies to the West. Okay, when I'm in Canada, if I'm trying to ball out, I can ball out. If I'm trying to live within my means, I can live within my means. So don't just be fixated on the fact that, oh, Qatar is so expensive and Qatar doesn't. Every country is expensive. Every country has inflation. Every country has a cost of living that's either is favorable or unfavorable. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. Even Mexico, the number one place on the number one spot according to that list. But just to me, it's bogus. It is what it is. But that's how I feel. I think it's a hit piece. That's my 2 cents.
That's interesting, bro. And I appreciate you, going into it and being transparent about how you feel about everything. Because part of this, I just couldn't relate. You know how you read something, you're like, I don't know what they're talking about. Like, it doesn't seem that this is the whole story, right?
Yes.
Because Qatar being on the list 31, you know how something seems criminally like underrated?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no, this is no way it's 31. Like, we should be talking about the top 10. Like, what are we talking about? So, to address what you were saying, I'm looking at the first column, right? The first column or category they were talking about was quality of life. Let's address the healthcare. This healthcare, if you're from the West, Canada, US, or the UK, you automatically will feel like this healthcare system is way better than the one in your country. I can't speak for Canada. I can't speak for UK in terms of how we get billed in the US. But so many people don't want to go to the hospital because they don't want a surprise bill.
Forget the hospital, the ambulance.
Or even just getting into the ambulance, stepping into there. I don't know how much it costs.
Some people would rather call an Uber.
Right. Just to get to the hospital so they can skip the ambulance bill at least. But it's like me going to Starbucks or going into a coffee shop and I have no clue what I'm paying for and how much it costs until I actually buy it. Oh yeah, by the way, it's $25. Huh? I'm shocked now. I'm offended. I'm appalled. Why does it cost so much? So in the US, I know the bills get out of hand. One of the I guess I can't say number one, number two, but I think number one or number two, the ways that people get into debt in the US especially is by medical.
Facts. No, it's
And
true.
those
You're right.
medical bills and the healthcare bills.
Yeah.
You just don't know what you're going to be charged for, and it's ambiguous what your insurance actually covers.
Facts.
But here, I don't really pay for anything that much. Like if I do, it's not expensive, right? It's definitely subsidized, or it's just a low cost for me based on what my company provides for me. I just feel like it's way better. At least it's transparent. I know what the prices are. That's for me. Travel. I'm in the middle of everywhere in the world. I'm in the Middle East, the middle of everything, right? So I could travel to so many places that are farther away from me if I was in the US. But because I'm here, it's closer to me, right? And Qatar Airways has received numerous awards for being the best airline. So how is travel suffering? Yes, it's expensive, but overall, travel everywhere in the world is expensive now. Safety, security. It's the first time I've been called an American. I walk into high-rise areas. I walk into gated communities. No one says, get out of here, or worried that I'm black and I'm going to do something. They checking me for my race here. My wife can run at 11 o'clock at night. No one's bothering her. She doesn't have to worry about being attacked or abducted or fearing for her life. So safety and security are top notch here in Qatar. Let's go to the next one. What was the next topic? It was ease of settling in. Next category. Looking at local friendliness. Now, again, I could say Qataris are not necessarily the ones that are going to say, "Hey, how you doing, buddy?" Like, no, they're not necessarily going to say that. No, not at all. But they're not bothering you either.
They don't care.
They don't care. They're in their own world. They're walking, they're chilling, they with their family, with their wife
Man.
and the husband. They're
As
not
they should.
for
As
you.
they should.
You're right, as they should. They're not checking for you, right? I don't need a hello from them. Right? And the ones that I deal with, they're absolutely fine. They're well adjusted. We're all doing the same things in life, regardless of a Qatari or Canadian or this. I don't have any issues. I've seen some things, right? But any country you can see some things. Like, wow, why did he act like that? Or why did she act like that? One person doesn't denote everyone. One person doesn't denote the large paintbrush for the whole, culture, right? For the whole people. So that's another thing. Ease of finding friends. Man, AB, you can say this. If you're on Facebook, the groups are popping on Facebook.
Yeah, 100%.
Facebook groups are popping here. Like, you can get into any type of conversation with someone and pose a question in some of these groups, and plenty of people will flood you and say, "Hey, do this, do that." You
need to be open-minded.
To be open-minded, right? There's a lot of groups. There's meetup groups here. Aleph Qatar can point you to the right direction to different events that are going on. Your workplace will actually probably be a good starting base for friends and doing things together with a group and then building your own branches outside of that, right? So there's definitely places to meet friends. Culture, Qatar has a strong culture. They're 10 toes down in their culture, 10 toes down in their religion, right? You know what I'm saying? They're going to make sure that stuff is going to be preserved here in this country and that they're going to share it with you as well. They're so hospitable, right? But like I said, they're not going to be in your business. "Hey, how you doing, neighbor?" No, that's not how they are. But they're very hospitable. What's the third one? Third category in this survey was working abroad. We're here for working abroad, right? It's the reason why we're here.
Still here.
Right. So career, they said what? Salary, job prospects, job security, work culture. Now, this economy, like I said, may not be producing as many jobs, right? But this is also not a magic wand where you could just produce jobs out of nowhere, right? They're in the process of getting more companies to come over. They have established Qatar free zones, right? They're doing business all over the world with companies. It's just a matter of if we are a preferential place versus other places that are preferential for other companies. It just depends on those things. But the work is definitely being done on that. If you're in education like myself and AB, tons of schools here. Every year I see another American school pop up. A British school pop up. There's a lot of British schools here just by default, right? IB school pop up. So education is definitely here, especially if you want to be a teacher. There's a lot of positions in this country as well. Salary, pretty good. If you're, I only can speak for education. I don't know the other, industries like that, but for education, definitely pretty good. The accommodations you get, and then you get your base salary that's separate. So your accommodation, if you're in the U.S. or Canada, you're paying everything from that one lump sum that you get in your check. But this is like, hey, you get 8,000 rial or 9,000 rial, plus you get your 12,000, 13,000 base salary as well. And that 9,000 is for living or whatever. Then you got your base as well, just for anything else. And then some places give you a travel allowance, phone allowance. I mean, all different things. And every time you look at salary, you have to look at, okay, what makes sense for my family? You got to negotiate. Not every package is going to make everyone jump out of the gym to come over, to Qatar, right? Not everybody jumping out of the gym for certain things. But for some families, you're like, yes, that's what I've been looking for. Yes, where do I sign up?
Yeah.
It depends on what you want. Now, I do find it hard to move from one company to another sometimes, right? There's maybe some limited or stiff competition, right, within that. But that's everywhere. We're all competing against each other. This is a globalized economy now.
Facts.
It's not a national economy. So the last thing I'm going to address with that, is personal finance. I don't really know what that means. I think the country's doing pretty well from their own personal finances and things like that. So I can't see how Qatar is low on the list if we're the top 3 or 4 GDP in the world, right? I don't know. I don't know. One of the richest countries I always hear, Qatar's one of the richest countries in the world. For personal finances, we're not over reliant on liquid gas and things like that. So I don't know. I'm just speaking from an expat experience. I'm not in the government. I'm not talking about any government people or anything like that. AB, did I miss anything? Because I really feel umbrage with that 31 placement. I don't really feel like it was deserved at all. Okay.
Definitely not deserved. But
No.
no, you've hit everything on the nail. Sorry, you've hit everything on the head of the nail.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to say, man. It's just
Yeah.
it is what it is, man. It is what it is. You get what you give, you know?
Yeah. Kalo K, Kalo K, you know what I mean? It is what it is, you know what I'm saying?
Halo
So
K, you know.
Kalo K, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's just one of those things that we're, you know, and I want to make this disclaimer as well. For myself and AB, we're speaking for ourselves. Obviously, there's different levels of expats, unfortunately, because of nationality or different jobs or different salary bands you could be exposed to based on your passport or where you're from. We're just speaking from us as an American expat, as a Canadian expat. I can't speak for everybody around the world in terms of what your expat experience is, but from our experience, this is what our truth is. You know what I mean? In terms of that. So our truth thing that has come up again, our truth, right? We're gonna leave. But again, Qatar shouldn't be 31 on that list. I don't know how they are, but you know, maybe in other surveys and things like that, they'd be a little bit higher. You know, so we'll see. We're just trying to give you all the real truth. You know what I'm saying? Inshallah. AB, that is it, man. We still happen to be at 1 hour and 20 minutes on 3 questions. We are a talkative bunch.
Yeah, we are. But I feel like, and we're gonna see the feedback. I
We'll
feel
see.
like the quality of discussion here we didn't feel rushed. It was much more. There's much more gems said here.
True. Inshallah. I do feel like I was, you know, being like the big bad, like, you know, bouncer, you know what I mean? Other like, no, we're gonna move on, you know, get out the line, you know. Like I feel like I was, you know, bull rushing the show before, but now I felt like we just naturally talked about it and we came to a point of exhaustion on that. And it's like, all right, we're good.
Yes.
All right, moving on to the next one.
And we went on tangents naturally, but tangents that were still not far away from the topics discussed. So it was good. It was really good.
True. But it doesn't matter what we think. What do y'all think? You know what I mean? Hit us up in the comments. Like, let us know. You know what I mean? And then use that email address. Y'all see it on the screen. Let us know what some topics you want to hear. We're talking about from what we want to hear, but what do you want to hear? Especially from the Expat Bros, from Expat to Deen to current events. What do y'all want to hear? Things about Qatar. Talk to us. Hit us up on the email or DM us, however y'all choose. All right? We out of here, man. Salute. Peace.